Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're breaking down the brilliant technique, the staggering math, and honestly, the profoundly human journey of Lionel Messi. We all know the name, and we've all seen the crazy highlight reels, but today we're looking at the actual anatomy of his greatness. We're going to strip away the myth and dive into the source material of a life lived at the absolute pinnacle of global sport. So let's jump right in. How do we actually define a player whose career feels, well, almost impossible to quantify? Is it the mountain of trophies, the ridiculous goal counts, or is it something a bit deeper than that? Because Messi's story isn't just about scoring, it's really a masterclass in adaptation, survival, and continuous evolution. Section 1. The art of the game, technique, and intelligence. We absolutely have to start with the visceral magic of his gameplay, where his physical limitations actually became his greatest weapons. There's this fantastic quote from our source material. When Messi receives the ball, he does not simply control it. He appears to begin a private conversation with it. Doesn't that just perfectly capture it? Because he's shorter and has a low center of gravity, he takes these tiny, tightly controlled touches while accelerating. Most players have to kick the ball way ahead of them to sprint, but Messi, he keeps it basically tethered to his left foot. His upper body stays totally calm while his legs move at blinding speed, turning his dribbling into an unpredictable, almost purposeful art form. Now, you've probably heard the criticisms about his off-the-ball movement. You see him just kind of walking around during a match, right? Well, what looks like laziness is actually rapid, incredibly calculated tactical scanning. He is constantly mapping the field. He's looking at which defender is out of position, finding where the passing lanes are forming, and just banking his energy until the exact right moment. Then, boom, he hits this explosive acceleration that gives defenders zero time to organize. It is pure, concentrated football intelligence. What's wild is how he just completely shattered the traditional mold of a forward. Usually, you've got your goal scorers over here and your playmakers over there. But under Pep Guardiola, Messi became the ultimate false nine. He'd start central, but then drop way back into the midfield. If defenders followed him, he just created a massive gap for his teammates. If they stayed put, he had all the freedom in the world to turn and attack. He seamlessly combined a lethal finishing with this unbelievable vision, making him a scorer, a creator, and a rhythm controller all wrapped into one. Moving on to Section 2, the math of greatness, validating the magic. Because while the eye test is magical, the numbers are what provide the undeniable proof of his historic excellence across literally decades of play. Okay, let's talk about the year 2012. 91 official goals in a single calendar year. 91! To put that into perspective, you'd have to average a hat trick every 2 to 3 matches for an entire year. Most of us get tired just going up a flight of stairs, right? But Messi was doing this while dealing with relentless travel, international duty, and facing elite defenses that were explicitly designed to stop him. It's an endurance feat that is simply staggering, completely obliterating Gerd Muller's old record of 85. And the crazy part? He just kept going. Fast forward to March 2026, and he hits the monumental 900-goal milestone in elite football. It's just relentless consistency across entirely different eras. 672 for Barcelona, 115 for Argentina, 81 for Inter Miami, plus his time at PSG. This wasn't just a few great seasons. This was a lifetime of delivering the hardest currency in the sport, goals. But here's the thing, it was never just about padding his own stats. 47 major team trophies. 47, including domestic leagues, Champions Leagues, and of course, World Cups. Whether it was Barcelona, Argentina, PSG, or Inter Miami, his individual genius always fueled the collective success of his squads. I mean, you don't win 8 Ballon d'Or awards unless your individual brilliance is actively lifting everyone around you. Section 3. The weight of expectations. The national crucible. Because true greatness always requires a crucible, right? To appreciate the highs, we really need to understand the agonizing weight of Argentina's national expectations that he carried for years. It really wasn't a straight line to the top. He had to trudge through a deep emotional valley. Just think about these heartbreak years. A Copa America final loss back in 2007. That absolutely devastating World Cup final defeat to Germany in extra time in 2014. And then back-to-back Copa America final losses on penalties to Chile in 2015 and 2016. All of this happening while being constantly, heavily compared to the ghost of Diego Maradona. It's absolutely crucial we remember his story isn't one of flawless perfection. It's a story of surviving a massive emotional toll. People were actually accusing him of being more Catalan than Argentine just because he moved to Spain as a kid.
After missing a penalty in that 2016 Copa America final, he was so completely drained that he actually retired from international football for a bit. The burden had literally just become too heavy to carry. Section 4. From heartbreak to glory. The ultimate turnaround. Because coming out of that brief retirement was arguably the single most important choice of his career, setting the stage for the ultimate catharsis. The story of this turnaround is just beautiful. Manager Lionel Messi built a younger, fiercely united squad around him. They didn't just expect Messi to save them, they fought for him. This finally allowed him to play freely, with actual joy, leading straight to the 2021 Copa America victory in Brazil, the epic 2022 World Cup triumph, and then yet another Copa America in 2024. That massive emotional barrier was finally gone.
Let's zoom in on that 2022 World Cup. It wasn't just a victory, it was this epic, tension-filled movie. You've got that crucial tension-breaking goal against Mexico when they were staring down elimination. That literally impossible pass against the Netherlands, the moment he completely spun Joško Goriel, one of the best young defenders in the world, against Croatia, and in the final, scoring twice and burying a high-pressure shootout penalty, that is sheer courage under fire. And then, jump to the 2026 World Cup, where his total hits an astounding 18 World Cup goals. I mean, the guy was scoring as a teenager back in 2006, and there he is, still doing it on the biggest stage nearly 20 years later. It's a level of longevity that connects two totally different generations of football. Section 5. The man behind the myth. Roots and resilience. To actually wrap our heads around how he survived this intense, decades-long pressure cooker, we've got to look away from the pitch and look at the man himself.
Despite being a literal global icon, someone recognized in every single corner of the globe, living in Barcelona, Paris, and Miami, his emotional anchor always remained fixed in Rosario, Argentina. His hometown provided the grounding and continuity he desperately needed, in a life that was completely transformed by unprecedented fame.
And right at the very core of that connection to Rosario is Antonella Roccuzzo. His childhood sweetheart was there way before the fame, the endless money, or the Ballon d'Ors. Their relationship survived the massive distance when he first moved to Spain, the crazy media scrutiny, and packing up their lives multiple times. She, along with their 3 sons, turned a lonely 13-year-old's dream into a beautiful, shared family sanctuary. And this all builds up to the ultimate theme of his life, which is adaptation. It's a profoundly human story, isn't it? A boy with a growth hormone deficiency needing incredibly expensive medical help. His family risks everything, crossing an ocean to join Barcelona at just 13. He adapts to survive. He adapts to the crushing pressure of carrying Barcelona. And then he adapts all over again, rebuilding his life and his legacy in Miami.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. Does true sporting immortality actually come from the 900 goals, the 47 trophies, and the shattered records? Or does it come from the profoundly human journey we've just been talking about? Beneath all the staggering math, it's his resilience, his deep connection to his roots, and his stubborn persistence after painful failures that make his story truly legendary. Thanks for joining me, and keep exploring the real stories behind the stats.